So guys, even today we'll try to go through trigonometry. So let's start maybe. Yeah, having a question which says that if what do you call this thing? It's saying if a 5a, you're having 5 what? You're having 5, then cos a is equals to, this is 2 the square root of a 6, and then it says where a is an element of what, of integers, wherein it will be between 90 and a 3 what, and a 360. So you'd have something like that, like this, and then now they say calculate without using what, without using a calculator, with the aid of the diagram, what to explain this. So like now here it means, if you're to check before we even proceed here, this is going to be within the first what, it's going to be within the first quadrant. No, it's going to be within the fourth quadrant. Because of this, if there was no this thing, we were going to write this range, we were going to write it to maybe in the first what, in the first quadrant. So in this case we're just going to have this, and then we will have something like what, we will have something like this. So in this case now, first make cos the subject of the formula. Cos a is equals to, and then 2 the square root of 6 divided by, this will be a what, a 5. So if this thing is like this now, what does it mean? What does it mean in terms of the what do we call this thing, in terms of the drawing? It means here this will be what, this is angle A, which is here. So it means like now, if there is angle A, it means like now this is adjacent over the hypotenuse. So it means here you'll have a 5, and then here it just means you'll have 2, and then the square root of what, of 6, because this is more like what, x divided by what, by r. So here this is r here, and then this here, this is more like y. So you'll be saying y is equals to this. Let me just place my phone on silent, and also do not disturb, because it will ring here, then I won't be able to, sorry. So I just try to place it on do not disturb. Just give me a second. So now I was still saying that here you will have what, 2, which is 2 the square root of what, 2 the square root of 6, and then this here it will just give you what, it will just give you a 5. Now to find this value of y here, it just means you will have to use theorem of Pythagoras. So I would say, it will say r, this is r here, r squared is equals to, this is x squared plus a y what, y squared. So now what is happening with r then? R is just the resultant, which is your hypotenuse squared is equals to, and the x value there is just what, 2 root what, root 6, and then this is a squared, and then now you will have what, plus a y. So let me just get my calculator. So here it means now here you can then say, what do you call this thing? You can then say this is 20 what, 25 is equals to, so now you will have 2 root what, root 6, and then close bracket, and then this will just give you a 20 what, 24 plus y what, y squared. So now here you'll have y squared is equals to 25 minus 20 what, 24. So you'll have y is equals to the square root of 25 minus 24, it will just give you a what? A 1. So this will just be plus or minus what? The square root of 1, which is just a what? Which is just a 1. Now, to know which sign to choose, look at the quadrant in which the diagram is in. So if you have to check, it's within the fourth quadrant. So we will choose negative what? Negative 1. So it means here, the value of what? The value which is here, it will just be a negative what? A negative 1. So now, your answer now, because to solve this, the question was saying that we need to get what? We need to get 1. Here I was just showing you to get the other side. So the question itself is saying a negative square root of 6 and then what? Tan A. So this is question 1. So to determine this now, you already have what? You already have all the what? The sides of this what? Of this triangle here. So it means here you just say this is negative the square root of what? Of 6 multiplied by what is tan A? Tan A is just a matter of you writing what? Let me redraw it maybe in a proper way. You'll have this. This will be negative 1 here. This will be 2 root what? Root 6. And then this will be a 5. So now, tan is just a matter of opposite over your what? Your adjacent. So you'll have negative 1 divided by what? By 2 root what? Root 6. So now here, it means you can just cancel the 6, the square root of 6, and also square root of 6. Now the negative and the negative will just give you a positive. So it means your final answer here will just give you a what? A 1 over 2. And then now, you get something like this. 2. Let me write sine 2 what? 2a. So now, when you're given such a thing, you need to rewrite. You can choose here. You can choose to simplify this and then rewrite it as what? I think this is a compound, so you can write it as 2 cos what? Cos a multiplied by sine what? Sine a. I think if I'm not mistaken. So now, it means look at what? Look at what cos is, and also look at what do you call this thing? What is sine a? So looking at this, it just means you've got 2. Then where there is cos a, look at the diagram now. I try to simplify it what? For you here. It will just give you what? Cos is just 2 root 6 over 5. So you'll have 2 root 6 over a 5, and then multiplied by a sine will just give you negative 1 over a 5. So this is the thing. So now it means here, you can then say what? You would say 2 multiplied, let's start with these ones here. You will have 2, let's keep it like that. Here you'll have a 2, and then the square root of what? Square root of 6. So it will be a negative here, because this negative and the 2 there, then all divided by 20 what? 25. And then here you'll have what? Let's simplify it now. You'll just have negative what? Negative 4, and then square root of what? Square root of 6, all divided by 25. I think this is it. I don't know if there are any what? There are any questions for this one. Let me check your questions. It's not first quadrant. Yes, over 64. Yes, it's not within the first quadrant, just because we were given what? We were given the range there of 90 to what? 90 to 360. So it will be within the fourth quadrant. And then let me try to check. Okay, there are no other what questions. So now let's move past that, and then So I'll try to move a bit slow so that at least you guys can be able to understand what I'm doing. So now, there are situations wherein instead of them giving you that particular information which they've had given you previously, they might just say that you are given sine, sine 18 is equals to a p. So once you're given something like that, and then the question says, without using a calculator, determine each of the following. You're given this, and then the question says, determine the following. So now this is following here. If following in terms of what? In terms of P. Let me say something. If they just said something like this, sine 18 is equals to a P, and then they don't tell you the what? They don't tell you which method to use, or you shouldn't use the diagram or anything. I'll suggest that you try to use what? You try to use the diagram so that you can be able to understand in which maybe so that you can be able to understand which side of the what of the triangle is equivalent to what. So let me try to maybe draw a diagram for this thing. So because here they did not give you a restriction, we can just draw what the diagram to be something like this in the first quadrant. So now it's saying sine what? Sine 18 is equals to a p. So this automatically means that p is over a 1. So it means here you'll write what? You'll write a 1, and then here you'll write a p. And then now for you to determine this side here, let me say this is the adjacent. I'll just write A. A is representing what? Adjacent. Let me write it here. A adjacent. So now, you determining adjacent just means what? You use theorem of Pythagoras. So it means, again, you will just have what? You'll have 1 squared is equals to, this will just give you p squared plus, in this case, let me not write, okay, it's fine. Let me write a squared. So it means like now, you'd have 1 is equals to what? 1 minus p what? P squared is equals to an a what? An a squared. So if I'm to write this thing properly, I'll have a is equals to, now the square root of 1 minus p what? P squared. So once you have this, just come and place it here. This will be 1 minus p what? P squared. So now, the question says determine cos 18. Yeah, it says what? 1 cos 18. So based on this diagram now, what do you think is what? Is cos 18? This is no longer relevant. Cos 18 now just means that it will just give you what? It will just give you the square root of 1 minus p what? 1 minus p squared. So you'll have 1 the square root of what? Of 1 minus p what? P squared. And then now, the next thing says, or the next question says, 2 says determine cos 40 what? Determine cos 48. So now, based on this, what is cos 48? Let's first check. Now, here we are having, this is 18 here. So now let's check 18, maybe let's say 48. Maybe let me just check 48 divided by 18. It gives me 8 over a 3. Then maybe let me say 90 minus 48. I get 42. 42 divided by 18. Okay, I still get that. So now, what you need to do here, I think you need to use, you guys, I think you do, what do you call this thing? You do compound angles. wherein you'll have cos. This is basically done in most cases in what? In grade 12. So you'll have 30 plus, even your grade 11, I think you do this, yes, because it's there on your formula sheet. So you'll have what? Cos into 30 plus what? 30 plus an 18. What is this equivalent to? If you have to check. So if you have to check, go to your formula sheet, you'll see something like maybe cos what? Cos into maybe theta alpha plus maybe beta. You'll get something like this. So this is more like I converted this 48 to this. Why am I doing this? It's because I'm seeing that I'm having an angle here, the value of 18. And then when I'm checking here, there's no other way in which I can write the what? I can write the 18 or I can get the 18. Because if I'm to check here, I'm trying to say 48 divided by 18. I get 8 over what? 8 over 3. Okay, let me try another method. 90 minus 48. I get 42. 42 divided by 18. I still get what? A fraction, which is 7 over 3. So that's why now I resulted into getting what? This, using this method. So based on your formula sheet, I'll suggest that you go there. After going there, you'd see that this thing, I'll try to write it cos into, this is 30 plus an 18, which is equivalent to what? This now is the same as you having cos a 30 multiplied by a cos what? Cos 18. And then now here you would have to write a negative. Let me try to wrap this. Just for the sake of space. It means here now you'll have a negative here. Here you'll have sine what? Sine 30. And then multiply by sine 18. Do you see now that we have got this angle, which is we have got this angle which is within this triangle here. We do have the 18 here, and also we do have the 18 here. I think now here you can be able to use what? For this sine 30 and also cos 30, you can be able to use special angles. So now every time when you're substituting in trig, try not to use a calculator when you're substituting for a special angle. Just try to learn the special angles, the values of the special angle, and then here you just have the square root of 3, all divided by what? All divided by 2. This will be a 2 here, and then multiply by, what is cos 18? Now, based on the drawing here, which is here, you can see that, what do you call this thing? You can see that cos 18 is the same as the square root of what? Of 1 minus p what? P squared, all divided by what? All divided by 1, and then close bracket, and then minus sine 30 is the same as, I think, 1 over a 2, this thing. And then after getting that, and then what is sine 18? Now, based on the drawing here, sine 18 is the same as p over a1. So you can then what? Multiply this now. So multiplying or simplifying, let me try to write here. You will have, let me check. Square root of 3 multiplied by the square root of that, you'll just have a big square root into a 3 multiplied by 1 minus p what? P squared. I think that's what you will get. And then close bracket here, and then all divided by 2, and then minus, here you'll just have a p divided by what? Divided by a 2. Then now, from here now, you can then say, you have got what? You can simplify this. Here I'm seeing that there won't be any things which will cancel. I'll just place this on the outside, and then say this is the square root of 1 minus p what? P squared. and then minus p divided by what? Divided by 2. So now this is your what? This is your final what? This is your final answer. So here, why am I saying this is your final answer? Because here they said write this thing in terms of what? In terms of p. And I do understand that, okay, others, they can try and write what? They can write this as their final answer. Let me say this will be 3 and then minus 3p squared all divided by a 2 and then what? Then minus a p here. It's still the what? It's still the same here. So let me check if you guys have got any questions before I proceed. Okay, my lives are basically more than maybe, let's say, 2 hours to 3 hours. I think I'm answering Rondorani. And then, okay. For Sakile, okay, I'll try to do that on the next one, maybe on the next drawing, maybe. Because now I've already written that. Yes, Rondorani 30 and 18, that's okay. And then, let's move past that. Okay, I'm not seeing any other what? I'm not seeing any other questions. So now let's move past that. So moving past that now, let me check which question is coming next now. Okay, now let's move past that and then try doing what? Try doing something like this now. Let's try doing, they say simplify. So now, simplifying, they say you have sine into, this is what? This is 180 minus x, and then multiplied by, this is tan, into what? Into x minus 1 what? 180, and then multiply by cos into 360 plus an x, and then all divided by, what is this? You have got sine squared into, this is 180 plus an x, and then plus sine squared into 90 minus an x. So now I would like for you to first check this thing what? First check this thing properly, yeah, and tell me, no, not actually tell me, try to think which maybe trig ratio is in the first quadrant. Maybe let's say, let me just give you a hint. You've got the first quadrant, né? This one, this is 2, this is 3, this is 4. So now within the first quadrant you're having 90 minus a theta, and then you're having 90 plus a theta. You're having 3, no, you're not having plus 90 plus theta. You're also having 3 what? 360 plus a theta. On the second quadrant you're having 1 what? Let's start with the 90. You're having a 90 plus a theta. You're also having 180 minus a theta. On the third one, you are having 180 plus a theta. Here now on the fourth one, you are having 360 minus a theta. Now, let me rub this. Now, within the first quadrant, all of them, they are what? They are positive. I'll just write plus here. And then within the second quadrant, it's only sine here. Okay, let me write it here so that it does not cause confusion. Sine here, it's positive. Here you are having what? Here you are having tan, which is positive here. Then on the fourth one, you're only having cos. So now let's start with this one now. What are you seeing? Can you see that this is within the what? This is within the second quadrant, which is this here. Because here it's saying what? 180 minus what? It's saying 180 minus an x. So if it's saying 180 minus an x, it means you just have what? A positive sign. Because within the what? Within the second what? Within the second quadrant, sign is a positive. Now, on that one, you are having what? You are having x minus 1 what? 180. Do you see that? So now, what you need to do with this one, you need to remove, you need to remove x, no, not x, you need to remove -1 here as a common factor between these two things. Because this is like a reverse of what? Of the normal thing. Because we normally say 180 minus an what? 180 minus an x. So 180 minus an x is within which quadrant? It's within the second what? Quadrant. So now, this is the same as you saying tan, let me open a big bracket here, and then remove -1, like I'm saying, as a common factor, and then this, and then have 180 minus an x, and then close what? Close the bracket. And then now, multiplied by, you have got cos 360 what? 360 plus x. Cos 360 plus x, like I said, it's within the what? It's within the first bracket. No, not first bracket, man. Within the first quadrant. So within the first quadrant, here, as you can check, I also wrote what? 360 plus a theta. You'll come and write cos what? Cos an x. So let me try to what? Just bracket this outside. Now, this will be divided by what? Here, you need to note something. There is a squared sign here. So it means you need to what? You need to account for it. Now, sine 180 plus an x. This thing, it's within the it's within the third quadrant. So within the third quadrant, what are you having as your positive what? Trig ratio? You are having tan. Okay. Let me not skip steps and write negative sine x. And then this will be squared here. And then plus. This here, it's within the first quadrant. So you will still just have what? Sine. What? No, you won't have sine here. Here you'll have a cos x. And then this will be something like what? This will be something like this. So after that now, let's just simplify. So simplifying the first one, you still get what? Sine x. And then for this one now, you're going to say multiply by, okay, let me place in brackets so that it doesn't seem like I'm minusing or subtracting. It will be negative tan into what? Let me first keep it for now, minus x. And then this will still be cos x. And then all divided by this one now. It's the same as you having maybe -2 like this. So what do you get for this? You get a what? A positive 4. So it means the same thing is happening here. So it means you will have what? Now you'll have a positive sine squared x plus cos what? Cos squared x. Now equals to, now you'll have sine x. Here, when it comes to this part now, tan is what? Is a negative within the second quadrant, because what is positive within the second quadrant, it's only sine. So it means this negative, it will still be there, and then multiplied by the negative, which is saying that the negative which I'm talking about now, it's the one which is saying that tan is negative within the what? The second bracket. So it will be negative tan what? X. And then here you'll close the what? Close the bracket, cos x. I'm trying not to skip what steps. This is the same as 1, because it's that what identity which says what cos squared x plus sine squared x is equals to a 1. So that's why I just wrote what? A 1. So it means like now I will then have what? On top I will have sine x, and then this will just be negative multiplied by negative, it gives you a positive. We just have what? Tan x, and then cos what? Cos x. Now I'll write sine x. Where there is a tan now, I'll write what? I will write sine x divided by cos x, and then I will multiply this by cos x. So it means this cos x and this cos x will go out. You just be left with sine squared what? You'll be left with sine squared x. So I don't know if there's something which I did, then you didn't understand. Let me just check your questions. Okay, from the way I see it, okay, the life is ending to x la ura. It's ending around maybe let's say 10:30 or past 10 to 11 there, because I normally go live for what? For 2.5 hours or 2 hours. So I know for this one, sine squared x, this is just your final answer. So if I'm to simplify this, it just means I'll just have to maybe what? Insert, what do you call this thing? I'll just say it's the same as 1 minus cos what? Cos squared x. So do you see that the one which is more simplified is this one than this? So that's the thing. So here I would say that the thing which maybe you need to take into consideration is just to know what these things are saying or what they mean, this thing. I think that's the only big deal here. So that's the thing. So here, don't forget, if you get a situation like this, what you need to do here, you need to first remove negative 1 as a common factor, so that it can be a normal reduction situation, wherein you can just identify which quadrant this thing falls within. So this is much easier to say that 180 minus an x falls within the second quadrant. And then within the second quadrant, tan is what? Tan is a negative. I just wrote it here. Do you see that? So now we move past that. Then let's go through this question. So in this question is still the same, simplify without using a calculator. So here it means you'll have what? Cos, having cos 330. It's 330 and what? It's just 330, and then tan 150. Then after 150, you have got sine what? Sine 12, all divided by tan. This is 675, and then multiplied by cos 2. I think what? 25 what? Yeah, 258. So now, guys, again, when you get something like this, let me draw the Cartesian plane again. This thing again is still saying, here, first quadrant you start from 0, this gives you a 90, this gives you what, a 180, this gives you a 270, and then here it's a 360. Do you see that this is a normal what, Cartesian plane which you know? Then now you trying to get maybe, okay, I'll talk about that particular thing which I want to talk about when we reach here. So now for the first one there, it just means you'll just have cos. This is 360 minus a 30. For you to get 330, just means you said what, 360 minus a 30, and then here you'll have tan. This is 180 minus what, minus 30, and then sine. Now for this one, for sine, I'll say that for now just keep it like that, sine 12. We will deal with it later. And then now when we come to this part now, it brings us to the Cartesian plane now. Do you see that the Cartesian plane here, it's ending at 360 here? But now if we are to add, we can add what, actually we can add a 90 and then come back to what, to the first quadrant. So we can say 360 plus what, plus a 90. How much do we get? We get a 450. So we get something like 450 here. And then actually it's not here, it's here, it's 450. So it means it's everything up until there, and then plus a 90 again. It means it will be a 540. So that 540 will be what, it will be here, and then 540 plus a 90, it will give you 630. So here we're having what, 675. So now this will say another 90. You get what, 720 here. So do you see that the 675 falls within within the fourth quadrant? Meaning here you can say 675. It's somewhere here. So because you are having something like this now, it means you need to say 700 and what? You need to say 720 minus 675. How much do you get? If you say 720 minus 675, 675 is the same as you getting what? An answer of 45. Do you get that? Now, you getting a 45 and then this thing being within the fourth quadrant, this thing is the same as you saying what? Let me check something. It's the same as you saying maybe 360 minus what? Minus a 45, and get a particular value there. You'll say 360 minus 45. You get 300 and what? 315. So these two things we are trying to, here what I'm trying to do, I'm trying to reduce the 720 to come back to the reduction what? Reduction number which you guys normally use. You normally use what? 360 and what? And 180 and also a 90. So the 720, 600 and what? These are huge numbers. So now we try to just stick to the first cycle. And then now, like I said, this 720 minus what? Minus, what do you call this thing? 675. It gives you 45. So this thing is the same as you having what? 360 minus 45. Which means this 315, it's the same as what? It's the same as, what do you call this thing? 675. So it means now here we can then come and write tan into what? Now you'll write tan into, I would say, this more like saying 360 minus a 40 what? A 45. And then we come to cos. Now on the cos part, you are having 258. 258 is the same as you saying 180 minus 258. You want to see how much was added. So you can see that the amount which was added here is 180 plus 78. So let me just try to do this. So yeah, having something like this. So let me just pronounce this. So now let's move past that. Now, where is 360 minus 30 belonging to? It belongs within the fourth quadrant. So within the fourth quadrant, here you're having what? Here you'll just have a positive cos, 30. Multiply by, turn into 180 minus 30. This is within the second quadrant. Within the second quadrant, sign is a positive. So it means you'll have sign, no, I'm lying. You have tan a negative 1, mind you, a 30. And then this will be something like this. And then the sine 12. Okay. Here, do you see that you are having... Okay, let me just keep it so that I don't skip steps. Just keep the sine 12 like that. And then here you'll have tan a negative, mind you, because this is within the fourth quadrant. Minus 40 what? Minus 45 multiplied by, this will just give you a negative cos 70 what? 78. So these things are within the brackets so that you can take note of the what? Of the negative signs. So now here, what is cos what? What is cos 30? So let me keep this now so that I will substitute it once, 30, and then multiply by negative tan. This will be 30 here. Multiply by, what is sine? Sine 12 has got a cofunction which is what? A cos 70 what? 78. Because if you had to say 78 plus a 12, you get a 90. If you add this 12 plus what? If you say 12 plus a 78, you'll get what? You get a 90. So it means its cofunction is what? It's 70 what? It's 78. Meaning it will say cos 78 divided by, this will just say negative tan 45, and then this will be a negative cos 70 what? 78. Now, do you see that this and this go out? Then it means you just be left with, let me start with the denominator. This negative multiplied by negative, it will just give you a positive. Meaning, because what is left here is just a what? A 1 here and a 1 here. So this negative 1 multiplied by this, it will give you a positive what? Positive value. So now, it will just give you a tan 45. I'm trying not to skip steps. And then here you will just have what? Negative multiplied by positive, which will just give you negative cos 80. And then multiplied by, change the tan now. You'll have sine 30 divided by cos 30. Now, this here is the same as maybe dividing by 1. So it means this cos 30 and this cos 30 will go out. Then you'll be left with what? Then you'll be left with a negative sine 30 all divided by tan 45. So now, what is sine 30? Sine 30, if you're to check, it's the same as what? It's the same as negative. This will be 1 over a 2. Now, what is tan 45? Tan 45 is the same as 1. And then it's equals to, the answer will just be a negative 1 over 2. So this you can test it using what? Using your calculator. Just enter this, the whole of this on your calculator. You'll see that you get a negative what? Negative 1 over 2. So that's how you're supposed to solve what? Such a question. Now, Let me check your questions before I move on. Okay, for Gladys, in most cases, you guys, you use 180 and 360 and 90 as your reduction numbers. You don't use 270. Okay, for Tina, okay, there I was just trying to maybe elaborate for others to understand where each value comes from, or what happens. And then for Luyanda, I'm not understanding your question. You're just saying won't turn be a negative. Yes, it's a negative. I wrote it. I think. Okay, I think the other questions are answered. Now let's move to the next question. Now the next question, I think it's a what do you call this thing? It's proving an identity. So now, let's say that they say prove. Prove what? Prove, they're saying you're having cos, and then an alpha, and then plus tan. What is it? Oh no, it's not tan. It's cos 2 alpha, all divided by, what do you call this thing? It's sine 2 alpha, and then minus sine what? Sine alpha, and then this is equals to cos an alpha plus a1 divided by sine what? Sine theta. No, not sine theta, sine alpha. Now, if you're to check this thing, they are saying that we need to prove what? We need to prove the identity. So now, proving the identity, it means the following things. It means you can choose the left-hand side or you can choose the right-hand side. So it depends from you. But from the way I'm seeing it, I think it's best to choose this side and then simplify it to get what? To get this side, the right hand side. So it means you'll write left hand side is the same as what? Left hand side is the same as cos alpha plus cos 2 alpha, all divided by sine 2 alpha minus sine what? Sine x. Do you see that before we even proceed here, you need to change what? You need to change this cos what? You need to change this sine 2 alpha, and also you need to change this cos 2 what? 2 alpha. So let me say that maybe the values which you replace with here, they should try to relate to your answer here. So don't try to substitute with something which will just make your question or your answer to be very long. So in this case, because I'm seeing here that we are only having a cos x as my answer, I'll replace the cos 2 theta with what? With 2 cos. I think, what does it say? I think it says squared alpha, and then does it say plus 1? I think it says plus, no, it doesn't say plus, I'm lying. It says minus 1, and then all divided by this, and then you are having sine squared. No, this is not sine squared, it's sine 2 alpha, which is just the same as 2 sine alpha, and then what? And then cos alpha, then minus sine what? Sine alpha. Then now here, try to simplify the top part. You'll just have what? Cos what? I'm used to theta, man. And then you're having cos alpha plus 2 cos squared alpha minus a 1, all divided by, remove a common factor here within the what? Within the denominator, which will give you sine alpha into, this will be 2 cos alpha, and then minus a 1. Then on top, do the same thing. Remove what? A common factor between this what? Between the these two things. So let me check. This actually is not what do you call this thing? For the top one, you don't have to remove what? Let me check. Here you'll have what? This, when you try to factorize it, it will give you, okay, it will give you this. So this now, it will give you this will give you this. It will give you 2, and then cos, and then alpha, and then minus, this is a minus what? This is a minus 1 here. So it will say minus 1. And then here you'll have cos alpha, and then plus a 1. And then all divided by, this will just be sine x. No, what am I writing x? Sine alpha, and then open bracket, 2 cos what? Cos alpha minus a 1. So once you have this now, after getting this now, you can then cancel the things which are the same. You'll have this and also have that. So after having that now, it just means you'll then have or be left with cos x plus 1 divided by sine alpha. So it will say cos alpha plus 1 divided by sine alpha. So this is just basically your what? Basically your answer. So I understand, and others I'm sure they might be lost here. Try to treat, do you see this thing which is on top here? Try to treat it like this. Try to treat it as 2. Okay, let cos x be equals to, not cos x, man, cos alpha be x. So wherever there is cos what? Cos alpha, replace with an x. So it means you will have what? You'll have x plus 2x squared, then minus 1. So you'll have 2x squared plus x minus a 1. Now try to factorize this thing. So factorizing this thing, those of you who are like me, who are used to the quadratic formula, you just say this is 1, this negative 1 plus the square root of 1 minus 4. What is a? A is just a 2, and then c negative 1 divided by 4. So you'll have something like this, 2 and then x minus a 1, and then the other one will just give you x plus a 1. So if you're to check here, wherever there is an x, go back and replace with what? With cos x. So you'll have 2 cos what? Cos x minus a 1, and then you'll have cos x plus 1. This is what happened here when I was factorizing these things here. This is what happened, and then you just get this thing. So I hope I brought you back to the picture. Maybe those ones were lost. So that's the thing. Let me check. I'm not seeing any question. So yeah, I'm not seeing any question. So that's the thing. And then now, let's go to the next what? Let's go to the next question. So now, let me just rub up until here, because the next question which they are asking relates to this. They're saying now, I'll try to write this one. They're saying for which other values of alpha is the identity undefined. So now that's the question. So now, if you're to get a question like this, and then it says, what do you call this thing? For which other values of alpha is the identity what? Undefined. So it means you need to what? You need to check something. It means you can use this one or you can use this one. But all of them, they'll give you what? More like the same answer. So now, if they're saying that which values will give the undefined what? Or which one will make the identity to be undefined, it's like you saying, let's say, what is 4 divided by 0? This thing, you'll see that is what? It's undefined, this thing. This thing is undefined. Why is it undefined? It's just because the denominator is equivalent to what? To a 0, or the denominator is equals to a 0. So in this case, we are going to do the same thing. We are going to say what? We are going to say, let me choose this side. We are going to say sine 2 alpha minus sine what? Sine alpha is equals to what? It's going to give you, you need to equate it to a 0, because this here, if you have to check, this is the denominator. So for this thing to be undefined, it means the denominator needs to be equals to what? To a 0. So if the denominator is equivalent to a 0, now let's solve for this. This more like you doing what? Determining the general what? Solution here. Because like now, you have to replace this. Replacing that, you'll replace it with sine 2 alpha multiplied by cos what? Cos alpha minus sine what? Minus sine alpha equals to a 0. Then now here, remove what? Sine x. Why do I keep on saying x? Sine alpha as your common factor. So you'll have sine alpha into 2, and then cos what? Cos alpha, and then minus a 1. Then is equals to a 0. So after getting this now, it just means you'll have, do you see that now you can say sine alpha is equals to a 0, or 2 cos alpha is equals to minus 1 equals to a 0. So it means like now, get the second function of what? Get the second function of this. It means you'll have what? Alpha is equals to second function of a 0. And then this side here, you also have the same thing. You'll say cos alpha is equals to 1 over a 2. So here it just means alpha will just give you cos this and then 1 over a 2. So once you have this thing now, what is this part now? Let's check. Second function of cos is 0. This will just give you what? This here will just give you what? It will just give you a 0. So it means here, this, it's just going to be alpha is equals to a 0 plus a 360, and then k, and then k is what? K is an element of integers. Now let's come here now. For this one now, your reference angle now, it's going to be second function cos 1 over a 2. So it means you are having alpha is equals to a 60 plus what? 360, and then what? K, and then k as an element of integers. Now there's another thing. Okay, let me not proceed to those things, because we are not solving a general solution here. We're just solving what we were asked here. Because if we were solving a general solution, I was going to go to another quadrant wherein cos is a positive, and the cos is a positive within the fourth quadrant. So it means this reference angle which I got here, I was also going to say what? Let me just do like this. I was going to say alpha is equals to 360 minus a 60, and then plus 360k, and then k is an element of what? Of integers, and then I'll get 300, and then plus 360 what? 0k. Do you know that you guys, you can prove what? You can prove these things to say that, okay, if you got a 60 here and then another answer is what? Is a 300. You can also check this thing. You check this thing by drawing the graph itself. Let's take for an example. It's just that this one is saying half. So if you are to draw it, you see that this thing will be more like something like this. So in most cases, if it's a normal graph, here to be a 90, here to be 180, here to be 270, what? 270. So now it will say that a 60, if a 60 is somewhere here, it just means the 300 will be somewhere what? Will be somewhere here. Do you see that the shape of the graph here and also the shape of the graph here, it's more like the same what? The same thing. So that's why when you're solving general solutions, you also get what? Different what? Another answer saying maybe 300 or another value. It's because they're looking at the graph and then seeing where these graphs can be what? Can be equal, or they are equal. So that's the thing. And then let me check if you... No, I don't only... I also teach, what do you call this thing? To Connie, I also teach your... What's this? Your technical maths, your maths literacy. How do you get which right identity to use on the first step? Okay, there you need to... I'll say that you need to understand your double angles. Those, not double angles, your compound angles. In most cases, you need to understand that cos, maybe you need to know such things like cos theta, sine what? Sine theta squared is equals to a 1. You need to understand that sine 2 theta is equals to, what do you call this thing? 2 sine theta cos what? Cos theta. So I'll just say that try to just check which which trig function is on the other side. Like this side, you can see that there is a cos. So it won't be of any significance for me to replace with something which is having a sign here, because it's just going to take me a long period to solve this thing. Yes, I'll reach the answer, but I'll be substituting a lot of things. So that's the reason. And then let me check. No, online I don't want. For live sessions, I don't teach literacy. For literacy, I only do it for like if someone what do you call this thing, ask me to help them in a private session. That's where I do that. And then please help me with the grade 10 inequalities. For inequalities, I think I did inequalities last week. I was doing algebra last week. So every time when I go live, I try to do maybe from grade 10, 11, and 12 things. So if I'm doing like a topic like this, trigonometry, I think last week I was doing things based in grade 10 or grade 10 and also grade 11. But today I'm also doing things involving grade 12. Let me check. I think Connie, I answered you. Okay, other than that, I'm not seeing a question. Then I'll say let's move. And then what's this one? C9. I would say that just try to join my WhatsApp group so that you know when I'll be live. And then let's move past that. So moving past that. Okay. Let me check the next The next question. I think it's more like doing what we were doing, what we started off with. They're giving us a Cartesian plane like this. And then you have theta. And then here you have P, which is -7 and a 4. And then, yeah, now they say in the diagram below, you have got P into -7 and a 4 is a point on the Cartesian plane. You have got R is a point on the what? On the positive. So this is your value of R here. They say, what do we call this thing? They say this is the value of theta. That is, here in most cases is your O here. Now they say calculate the length of what? Of OP. Yeah, let me just write determine in general here. One here, they are saying length of OP. So now, how do you determine what? How do you determine the length of OP? So look at what they've given you here. OP is just from here, the origin up until P. So what they are asking you to determine is your hypotenuse. So now, if I'm to draw this diagram in a proper way or in detail, it will be something like this. It means you'll have this. This is O here, this is P here. Maybe let me just say this is A here. So when they say OP, and then this will be, what do you call this thing? This is X here. So x, it's going to be what? -7, and then y here is just a 4. So now OP will be O what? OP squared is equals to 4 squared, let me place in brackets, plus a 7, -7, then squared. Now you'll have a 16 here plus a 40 what? A 49. And then 16 plus 49, you get what? You get 60 what? 65. So now OP, then the square root of 65, what do you get? Square root of 65. Square root of 65 would just be the square root of 65, guys. So here, you're having square root of 60 what? 65. Let me just confirm what I just wrote here. 7 squared. Yeah, it will just be the square root of, what do you call this thing? 65. Now, the second one here, or the second question is saying tan theta. So for tan theta here, based on what I just did now, do you see that you already have all the values? Because here it's theta here. And then here is just what? Minus, no, not minus. Here is just a 4. Then is a -7 here. So this thing will just give you 4 over minus what? 4 over minus a 7. And then now, you're coming to this part now, which will say cos into a theta minus, what is this? 180. And then now, this is more like what we were doing previously. This is more like a reverse. So you need to first say what? Cos, and then let me say this, remove -1 as a common factor, and then you'll have 180, and then minus a theta. And then this will be more like what? This negative will just come outside here, and then say cos 180 minus a theta. Then now here you'll have what? You'll have negative, cos this falls within the second quadrant, and within the second quadrant cos is a negative, so you'll have negative into negative cos a theta. And then you'll have what? Negative multiplied by negative, you'll get cos a theta. So now, solving this now, what is cos theta? Cos theta is just a -7 over the square root of 60 what? Of 65. I think in this case, they've only given you these questions. I don't know. For Gladys, you're saying you're confused with which part? You're saying is the outer theta equal to the 90-degree triangle? So the theta is here. Okay. Do you see this arrow here? Because in most cases when they give you a drawing, they'll give you a drawing with a theta being here. But it's more like you placing what? The theta here. Because, how can I place it? Yeah, it's just this. I don't want to lie to you. I don't know which other way to explain this to you. But this theta here, it just means the theta, which is what? It just means that this value or this angle, which is here, it's a theta. And then I'm not seeing a question. Okay, I'll do Euclidean geometry as time goes on, but for now, I'm still busy with with trig, because I haven't done also trig functions. So I'm trying to just go to the link on the bio for dog water. So I'm trying to go piece by piece. So I don't want to skip chapters. I'm trying to follow some logic to say that after doing this, we go to trig functions. After trig functions, we do something else relating to paper 2. We don't skip and then become disorientated. And then now let's move past that, and then there is a question here saying what? Determine the general solution. Saying 5.2, saying determine what? So they're saying determine the general what? Determine the general solution of I hope I'm seeing correctly, sine x and then cos x and then plus sine, what is it, sine x, and then is equals to 3 cos squared x plus what do you call this thing, 3 cos x. So you are having something like what? You are having something like that. So now what I will say here, try to, first look at this thing and then try to identify if you can be able to what? If you can be able to, what can I say? If you can be able maybe to remove a common factor, or you can be able to remove what? Yeah, a common factor. So in this case, let me bring this side. Whatever you're seeing this side, I'm going to take it this side. So I'll have what? Sine x, then cos x, and then plus sine x. Now I will have minus 3 cos what? Cos x, cos squared x, then minus 3 cos what? Cos x is equals to 0. So now I want you guys to look at something here. Do you see that it's possible for us maybe to remove what? A common factor somewhere. Look at this now. Only that. Remove a common factor of sine what? Sine x here. You'll be left with cos what? Cos x plus what? Plus 1. Now let's come here. So coming this side, we'll say minus. Remove a common factor of 3 and a cos x. Meaning here you'll be left with what? Here actually you are removing a common factor of a negative 3. Negative 3 cos what? Cos x. It means like now, what I'm trying to say here is, okay, let me first do it without removing anything. You'll have a cos what? Cos x and then minus a 1. Let me check something. No, let me remove it at once. So checking from this, I've already removed the what? I've already removed the, what do you call this thing? The negative 1. Because if you have to check here, I'm having a negative and also a negative. I was thinking that maybe I'll remove it after, but me writing this negative here, it means I've already removed the what? The negative 1 as a common factor here, or the negative 3 as a common factor, which is this one here. And then removed what? The cos here, which is this one, and then I'll be left with a plus here. If I'm removing what? A common factor, which is this one, which is the negative, and then remove also cos, and then I'll be left with cos what? Cos x, and then a plus what? A plus 1 here. So now, do you see that from these two terms here, I've got a common factor, which is this one, and which is also here and also here. So it means now I can say cos x plus a 1. This is the common factor. Now, once I remove this here, what is left? What is left is sine x minus what? Minus this, minus 3 cos what? Cos x. This is what remains here. So after you having this now, it just means like you can then say cos x plus a 1 is equals to a 0, and then sine x minus a 3 cos what? Cos x is equals to a 0. Now it means you can say sine what? Sine x is equals to a 3 cos what? Cos x. Now you can divide both sides here by what? By a cos. So if I'm to divide here by cos x, divide by cos what? Cos x, this and this cancels. These two, sine x divided by cos, they give me what? They give me tan x, which will be equivalent to a 3. Now it means my x this side will be equals to tan second function. This is a 3 here. Then it means now, what do you have now? Let me get my calculator. You just have tan second function tan 3, which gives you what? 71.56. Now this is within the first quadrant, so it will just be plus 180k. K is an element of what? Integers. Then let's come this side here. Why am I saying that? Here, if you're to check, this means go where tan is a positive. So tan is a positive within the first quadrant, and also what? Okay, let me go to the third quadrant also to say x is equals to, this will say 180 plus, this is your reference angle, mind you. This will be 71.56 plus 180k. This will say 70 something plus 180. It will give you 251.56. Then plus 180k. Now let's come this side now. Coming this side, it means you'll have cos x is equals to, this will be minus 1. And then here you'll have what? X is equals to second what? Second function of what? Second function of the value there. It means like now I'll have second function cos a -1. Sorry. So you'll have this your reference angle, né? So you just say x is equals to 180, and then what do you call this thing? Plus 360k, and then k element of integers. So that's just what you will have. So now let's move what? Let's move past that. Let me check your questions. Why aren't we adding 360 instead of You mean for which one? On the tan there, it's because the period of tan is 180. So, okay, Clifford, the first step, now on the first step, what happened was that, okay, here I just took this to the right hand side. So let's say that, let me what do you call this thing? Let me rub this here. And then let me remove the common factor while it's still on the right hand side. So I'll remove 3 cos what? Cos x into cos x plus a 1. And then it will still be saying sine what? Sine x, and then cos what? Cos x plus sine what? Sine x here. Now, I will take this to the right hand side. So taking it to the left hand side. So taking it to the left hand side, it will then say minus. This whole thing will then say minus 3 cos x into cos x plus a 1 is equals to a 0. This is what happened. This is I'm directing to Clifford. I hope now you got what I just did. Okay, I don't know if for Clifford you're okay now. And then now, let me check for the next question. And then now, the one which is coming here now, I think it's prove the identity. Prove the identity. They say prove. Excuse my handwriting. Prove the identity which says sine 3 what? Sine 3x all divided by 1 minus cos what? Cos 3x, and then is equivalent to 1 plus cos 3x, then all divided by sine 3 what? Sine 3x. So now, again with this what? With this kind of things, you need to choose which side you're going to choose to what? To simplify, or maybe to prove. So in this case, I would say that here it's much easier for you to choose what? To choose the left hand side, or you can also choose the right hand side. Okay, I'll do both sides maybe for you to try and understand. Here you'll choose the left hand side and say this. You'll say sine 3x, then all divided by 1 minus cos 3x. Now check something. Né? Here I'm going to rationalize. Why am I doing that? Is because I'm also seeing what I'm having here on top here as our numerator. I'm seeing that I'm having 1 plus cos 3x. And then there's no other way of me to get what? To get this 1 plus cos 3x without me doing this. 1 plus cos 3x divided by 1 plus cos 3x. This is the same as me, what do you call this thing? Multiplying the equation with the 1. Because what I just did here is the same as 1 over a 1. this, cos your 1 plus cos 3x divided by 1 plus cos 3x is the same as multiplying this thing by what? By 1. So it means now you'll have this. On top, you'll have sine what? Sine x, 3x, and then plus. What do you call this thing? You'll have plus. Okay, for now, let me not simplify it or find the product. Let me just write 1 plus cos 3x. Let me write it like this. And then all divided by. Then now here underneath, I'll have what I'm having here. It's like difference of 2 squares. But let me not skip steps. Let me write everything. 1 multiplied by 1 gives you a 1. And then 1 multiplied by cos what? It gives you cos 3x. And then negative cos 3x multiplied by 1 gives you negative cos what? 3x. And then now, what's left? You are having negative cos x multiplied by positive. It will give you negative cos squared, 3x. So this and this will go out. It means now you'll be left with sine. I am not finding the product of this because of what I'm seeing here. The product, I mean multiplying this sine 3x plus multiply by this, multiply this by this. I'm not doing that because I'm seeing that here, this thing is not there. So hopefully it will cancel as we are going down here with the solution. Now all divided by this. Underneath you are left with 1 minus cos squared 3x. Now this thing which is here on your denominator is the same as you having cos squared theta plus sine squared theta, which is equivalent to 1. Now make sine squared theta the subject to the formula. It means you'll have sine squared theta is equals to 1 minus cos squared theta. So it means where there is 1 minus sine 1 minus cos squared theta, go and replace with this. So it means in this case it will say sine 3x open bracket 1 plus cos 3x, then all divided by what? I said where there is 1 minus cos squared theta, you're going to write sine squared, né? So it means you'll have sine squared, you'll have sine squared what? Where there is theta, you'll replace with this 3x. So you'll have what? 3x here. So I think I can wrap this most. And then here now, you can then cancel this 2 here. Then you'll be left with a 1. It will cancel with this. Then your answer will just be 1 plus cos 3x. And then all divided by sine 3x. Do you see that it's the same as that one? Now you can then say left hand side is equals to right hand side. So you can then say that. Now this is just pure maths, like the one which you'll be doing in a normal NCS syllabus. How to tell which compound angle formula to use with regard to cos 2. Here I'm not having such a thing most for dog water. I'm not having cos 2x moves here. And then now here, let's say this now. And then here we had chosen the left-hand side to prove. Now let me show you that also when you choose the right-hand side, you can also approach what? You can also reach this what? You can also reach this. So let's choose that. Because there are other people, maybe when they are solving, they choose the right-hand side instead of the left-hand what? The left-hand side. Right hand side. So on the right hand side, it means now you say you are having 1 plus cos 3x all divided by sine 3x. Now before proceeding, check what you are having here. You are having 1 minus cos 3x on your denominator. So it means you need to say this now. This multiplied by 1 minus cos 3x divided by 1 minus cos 3 what? 3x. Again, this is the same as you multiplying with the 1. Now, we will then say this. We'll then say, what do you have on top? On top you'll have 1 and then minus, what is this? Minus cos 3x plus cos 3 what x, and then cos and the cos, it will give you what? This will be a negative cos squared 3 what? 3x all divided by what? Let's keep the sine what? Sine 3x the way it is, and then 1 minus cos then 3x. So after getting this now, this and this will just cancel themselves out, and then you'll be left with 1 minus cos what? Cos squared 3x divided by, this is sine x 3x mind you, into 1 minus cos 3 what? 3x. This is taking us back to the identity cos what? Squared theta plus sine squared theta equals to 1. Now you are having a sine squared theta is equals to 1 minus cos squared what? Theta. So it means wherever there is 1 minus cos what? Squared theta, go and write sine squared theta, which this will just say sine squared into 3x here, all divided by sine 3x into 1 minus cos 3x. So now cancel this and then cancel with the squared there, you'll be left with 1. So your final answer will just be sine 3x all divided by 1 minus cos what? Cos 3x. If you have to check, they are equal. So you will then say left hand side is equals to right hand side. And then what? And then you're done. So now it doesn't matter which side you choose, as long as you know the principle of what? The maths principles. That's the thing which is mostly important. So now let's move what? Let's move past that and then go to the next what? The next question. So now the next question, let me check for a question. Guys, let me do it's saying prove that. Why do I keep on getting prove that? So now they are asking that we prove this has got a lot of marks, eh? They say you should prove cos what is this, 45 plus x, and then multiply by sine into then 45 minus x is equals to cos 2x divided by 2. Here guys, let me say that look at the question properly after looking at it, and then check what is being required out of you. So if you are to check here, you can see that, okay, what is that which is being required? What is that which is being required out of you? So here I'll say, try to look at the, what can I say? That formula sheet, like I said. Look at the formula sheet, and then what? And then try to compare with what you are seeing here. So if you have to check here, what are you seeing? I can feel my legs are tired. What are you seeing here? Do you see that there is what do you call this thing? There's a compound formula, man. I think it says something like cos. And here, if you have to check, you're having, it's more like you having a theta plus a beta. So this will be a theta minus a beta. So now it means like now you can then say change this. So by changing this, what will you get by this? I think this thing, what does it say? I think it will say cos, this will say cos 45 multiplied by, does it say sine or cos? Let me check the formula sheet here. Let me check the formula sheet. Okay, the formula sheet, it says, if it's saying cos here, so it means that it will start by saying, okay, it will start by saying sine. In most cases this time. So it will say sine 45 multiplied by cos what? Meaning this is cos x. Because here now there is a what? There is a plus. It means also you get a plus sine what? Sine x multiplied by cos 40 what? Cos 45. Now this I'll place here. This is for this. The ones which I wrote here, they are for what? Let me place big brackets so that you can see the difference. So this which I did here is for this here. Now let's come and do for this now. Doing for that, it means it will say multiplied by. For this one, your formula says, check. Your formula says, this will say sine 40 what? Say sine 45 multiplied by, after 45, it means here it will say multiply by what? What does it say? It will say cos x, and after getting that, it means it will say okay, I'm having this and this. After this, I will have minus cos 45 and then multiplied by sine what? Sine x. Okay guys, what you're seeing here, ne? It's more like I used your formula sheet here to be precise, because here I just substituted. If there's no other thing which I did here other than substituting with the values or with the formula which is on your formula sheet. Then after getting this, now what is sine 45 and then what is cos 45? Here they said we should not use a calculator. So I think as for me, I don't know the thing by head. What is this? Special angles. Special what? Let me check. Okay, for sine 45, you have sine 45. You have the square root of what? Square root of 2 divided by a 2. The problem here is if you use a calculator, they will see, because the calculator rationalizes things wherein you find that there is a square root underneath. Here it will still be saying cos what? Cos x, and then multiply, and then plus sine. And then cos 40 what? Cos 45 is the same as what? As sine 45, which will say square root of 2 divided by 2. And then this will still be like this. Then sine 45, square root of 2 divided by 2. Then multiply by cos what? Cos x minus square root of 2 divided by 2. Then sine what? Sine x. So now, let's multiply now. Multiply this with this. So it means it will be saying what? Square root of 2 divided by 2. Then multiply by the square root of 2 divided by 2. Then you just have what? Cos squared x. So it's this one and this one. Now, these two things, if you have to check, it's like a difference of 2 squares. Okay, let me not try to skip steps. It's like difference of 2 squares, because you're going to get, this will say minus now. You'll have the square root of what? Square root of 2 divided by 2. And then cos what? Cos x. And then multiplied by the square root of 2 divided by 2 sine what? Sine x. Let me place it like that. Now you're going to have what? You're going to have these two now. You're going to have plus the square root of what? Square root of 2 divided by 2. This will be, let me start with cos so that you can see the difference. Cos x, and then close bracket, and then square root of 2 divided by 2. Then sine what? Sine x. Then something like this. And then now, multiply this and this. You'll see that you'll get what? Minus the square root of, due to space here, 2, and then square root of 2 divided by 2, and then sine squared. This will be squared x. So you'll have something like this. Now, this and this will go out. So you just be left with square root of this to just give you a 2 divided by 2, and then cos what? Cos squared what? Cos squared x. And then here, I said this is a minus again, and then here there's a plus here. Here there's a plus here. So it just means these two, they will go out. And then you'll be left with this here, which will just give you negative 2 over a 2. And then this will be what? Cos, no, not cos, sine squared and x. Then now, this is the same as you having what? Having cos squared x minus what? What do you call this thing? Minus sine squared x. So this here, it means here, you'll have what? You will have, what is this? You will have, this here is the same as cos 2x. Okay. But from my doings here, it seems as if I forgot something here. Square root of 2 multiplied by the square root of 2. I'll get it 2 most. I'm seeing here it's saying cos 2x is fine, but there's somewhere where I lost the what? Where I lost the 2. Let me check the question properly. Let me check. You'll have this and then this. Where did I go wrong? Where did I go wrong? Sine squared. Okay, I'm having what? This multiplied by that. That's fine. Guys, maybe we've seen the what? Where I went wrong here. For Pumelo, where did I go wrong here? Because I'm trying to check on my audio, I can't see. Mistake by the cos 45x. Cos 45x. Cos 45x. You mean which one? This one? Or which one? Or you mean here? Okay, I think I see. Let me rub this. I think from here now, what I needed to do now was to say this and this will give me sine squared what? 45. Then this what? It will give me sine squared 45 multiplied by cos what? Cos x. It's these things multiplied by what? By these things, which here it will give you what? Cos squared x. And then this one multiplied by this here. This is like a difference of 2 squares. So it's the same as me coming to just have what? Say this multiplied by what? Multiplied by is, I said this multiplied by this, I'll get this. And then this multiplied by that, I'll get, okay, let me write it. I'll get sine 45 multiplied by cos 45. Ne? And sine 45 and cos 45 is fine. I'll also get cos x and then sine what? Sine x. Now I'm going to do the same thing with these two now. I'm going to have what? Plus sine 45 multiplied by sine x. And then cos 45. And then what? Cos this just be cos 45 and cos x. Do you see that these two things here, they will just cancel each other? So this and this will come out, and then I'll just be left with this multiplied by this. So this is equals to, this is sine squared 45 and then cos squared x. Then these two here, they will give me negative sine squared x, and then I think with what? With cos 45 what? squared 45. I think now you will have something like this. Now, where's my calculator? So now, what is 45? This is the same as what? This is the same as sine 45. Sine what? Sine 45. This is the same as square root of what? No. Special angles. Sine 45 is just the same as square root of 2 divided by 2, then squared, and then this will just be cos squared x, and then minus 45 is the same as the square root of 2 divided by a 2 squared, and then sine. This is going to be what? A squared what x. Now I can remove this as a common factor. I'll have what? I'll have the square root of 2 divided by 2, and then I'll have what? I'll have cos squared x minus sine squared x. Then now I will have what? This is squared here. So I will have square root of 2 divided by 2, and then squared. I'll just have 1 over a 2. This side here, I'll just have what? Cos. This is going to give me 2x. So all in all, it will be cos 2x all divided by a 2. I think this is the thing now. So now I can then say right hand side is equals to left hand side. So that's the thing. So I'll say, guys, for tonight I will end here. So I was supposed to end at 10. So now let me check. To Uriel, I think yes, I tried to just correct my mistake. That is cosine rule. From the beginning, cos compound is cosine. Okay, yes, I think I tried to correct my mistake, and thank you guys. I think because tomorrow is a weekend, I'll see maybe from, let's say, maybe any day, anytime during the day, because tomorrow it's a weekend, and then yeah, it's unlike during the course of the week wherein I do it Monday, then I do it Wednesday, and then I do it Friday at 8 o'clock. Monday, and then Wednesday, and then Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 8 o'clock up until 10. Now it's already what? 11 past 10. So in the afternoon, I'll try maybe in the afternoon. If it's not in the afternoon, I might come back and do it at the same time at 8 o'clock. If I don't do it, I'll either do it at 12. Okay, I'll either do it at 12 in the afternoon, or I do it at 3, or I do it at 8. It's either at 12, at 3, or at 8. So just try to check me or check my my life at that particular moment. Tomorrow you will give us question and we do them. Okay, I'll try to send you on the WhatsApp group. I'll try to send you, and then you can try doing it. Then I'll say thank you guys, and then enjoy the rest of your evening then. And then those ones who want to get notified about about me going live, I'll say that just go to the link or on my bio, and then you get the link to the WhatsApp group. Go to the link. in my bio, and then you'll see the link to the WhatsApp group. So that's the thing. So I think now I am shutting down the live now, unless if there is a question. Is there any question? I think for Rondorani, I go to my bio, you will see the link to the WhatsApp. Like I said, weekdays, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 8 o'clock. And then the weekends, I'll just update people on the time. And then, yeah. And then for those ones, guys, you can also try to subscribe. When maybe when you subscribe, that's where I'll be able to assist you. Maybe privately, you can give me your questions. I'll be able to I'll be able to answer them and everything. Maybe we can have a session wherein you can just ask me any question, because on a live like this is difficult. Let me try to. Okay, this is my number, ne? Let me write my number here. For what? This is for the WhatsApp group, ne? So it will say this will be the cell. It will be 06802988188. So this is the number. So for Rondorani, this is the what? This is the number, ne? And then, so I was still saying about the part of subscribing. So if you subscribe, I also do, what do you call this thing? Subscribers meeting, wherein you can ask me any question which you want regarding regarding maths. And then as time goes on, you find that I'll also teach you science. But I don't like teaching science here, because science is more like reading and then doing all the stuff. So I normally do science maybe in your private sessions, wherein if one wants me to assist them, I can be able to assist them with physical science, mathematics. I can be able to do with them your life science and everything. So actually I'm able to teach almost any subject. So that's the thing. So guys, I think yeah, that's it. That's it for today. Thanks, King Carl. Thank you, man. Thank you. And then good night, guys.